The story of Apple co-founder and entrepreneur Steve Jobs has been turned into a new film.
Ashton Kutcher stars as the late tech billionaire. Our reporter Catherine Tulich spoke to him and the film's director Joshua Michael Stern.
Just saying, we need to come up with a name. Apple. That is so much better than phaser beam computers.
In Jobs, Ashton Kutcher portrays tech magnate Steve Jobs. The movie looks at the humble beginnings and personal turmoil of the entrepreneur and co-founder of Apple.
Trying to build Apple, and they're taking it away from me.
Were you hesitant to take on this role? It seems like such a perfect fit for you, but it's also quite daunting.
I was really scared because I admire the guy, and I have a lot of friends and colleagues that knew him well. And I wanted to honor his legacy. But I believed in the message of the movie. I believe in the idea of inspiring entrepreneurs to build the life that we live in. And I've also learned that most of the things that I've done in my life that have had great reward have been the things that scare me the most.
I think we're kindred spirits here. We're both businessmen that operate from our gut. And my gut tells me to give you this opportunity.
How much did you research? Did you talk to people? What did you do to really become Steve Jobs?
I spent about 3 months. First, I started by reading and consuming everything I could about him. And then once I did that, I started to study things that he studied and learn about the things that he learned about. From the books that he read, to the food that he ate, to the artists that he admired, to the entrepreneurs that he studied. And just started to like eat, sleep, and breathe Steve Jobs.
Welcome to Apple Computer.
Is this everything?
We shot in the original garage where Jobs had Apple One, his parents' actual garage in Palo Alto, and it was amazing. I mean, it felt like we were there, and what was striking to me was how small it was. I mean, you forget that he was a guy in a tiny little sort of post-war bungalow house, and he dreamed big.
They're not seeing the big picture.
That's right.
The thing about Jobs is that he was an enigma. I mean, people knew him, but he never let people really in. And people would say after working with him for 30 years, I worked beside him for all these decades, and I don't think he knows if I even have a kid.
I'm not understanding.
Get out.
What, are you gonna fire me?
No! I already fired you! Why are you still here?
I was constantly worried the entire time that the Steve Jobs that we were portraying wasn't a likable Steve Jobs. I wanted it to be clear that his faults were also his gifts. And we all have that to a certain extent. We all have that thing that we're really great at, or that we do that is like the best thing that we do. But when used inappropriately, it's the worst. It's our worst quality. And I think that Steve had a quality of blunt discernment that was very exacting. And it was the very thing that creates these products that are so simple and wonderful that we use and take for granted every day. But that same blunt honesty made him the person that would sit in an Apple cafeteria and see someone that was overweight and walk up to them and go, "You're fat, you're gonna die young. This is a number for a doctor that you should go see." That maybe wasn't the most generous way to help someone.
People who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.